Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're learning how to factor using greatest common factor or GCF. This is one of the first and easiest steps in factoring, and it helps break down more complex polynomials as we go down the line. So let's dive in. So we're going to start with step one. Step one is let's figure out what is greatest common factor. So greatest common factor is the largest number or term that divides evenly into all terms of a polynomial. So factoring out a GCF is like pulling out the common piece so we can rewrite the expression in a simpler form. So let's say that we have an expression 12x squared plus 18x, and we were asked to factor this. Well, what we need to realize first and foremost is that both of these terms, so this term and this term, have common factors. So they have a factor or a number and a variable that goes into both of them evenly. So what is that greatest common factor? Well, we know that 6 is the greatest number that goes into 12. 6 is the greatest number that goes into 12 and 18. And what about our variables? Well, we know that x goes into both x and x squared. So what is our greatest common factor in this case? Well, 6 is the largest number that goes into our coefficients, and x is the greatest number that goes into our variables. So now step 2 is to divide each term, so the 12x squared and the 18x, by our greatest common factor, which is 6x. So 12x squared divided by 6x is 2x. 18x divided by 6x is 3. And if you need help visualizing this, let's just write it over here. Well, 12 divided by 6 is equal to 2. And then we have 2 x's on top and 1 x on the bottom. So using our exponent properties, we cancel out one of the x's, or we subtract x2 minus x1. So we're just left with x. To show the math on the second term, we have 18x divided by 6x. Well, 18 divided by 6 is 3. And we know anything divided by itself, so x divided by x is just 1. So times 1. And we can rewrite this as a 3. The beautiful thing about this is after we get to an answer and we've factored and we've simplified everything, we can redistribute this to see if we get to the same thing that we started with. So 6x times 2x, well, that's 12x squared, plus 6x plus 3 is 18x. So we know that after distributing this, that this does in fact check out because it goes back to the same thing that we started with. So that's it. We factored the greatest common factor, leaving us with 6x times the quantity 2x plus 3. So you can always check your answers by distributing like we did. So I'm going to put a couple practice ones down here. And I encourage you to pause the video and try this one on your own. So I assume that you've paused the video, so let's go back and let's check your work and see if you did it right. So what is the largest number that goes into both 15 and 25? Well, that number is 5. And what's the largest variable and exponent that goes into x3 and x2? Well, the smallest one, in this case that's x2, is always going to be the greatest common factor for your variables. So we know that x2 is our greatest common factor. So what are we left with? Well, 5 is the largest coefficient or number that goes into both numbers. And x2 is the largest variable that goes into our variables. So we're going to divide 15x3 by 5x squared. That's going to be 3x plus 5 goes into 25 5 times. And again, x squared divided by x squared is just 1. So we're going to leave that as 5. So again, if we were to go to distribute this out, so if we did distribute this out to check our answer, 5 times 3 is 15. X squared times x is x to the 3. plus 25x squared. Beautiful. So I'm going to leave you with two more. 8x squared y plus 12xy and 30x3 minus 45x2 plus 15x. So what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to do the first one with you, and then the second one, go ahead and do on your own and drop the answer in the comments, and we'll see if you did it right. So go ahead and pause the video. We're going to do the first one together. So I've assumed that you've tried this on your own. So again, we're asking ourselves the same question. What is the largest number that goes both into 8 and 12? Well, that number is 4. 4 is the largest number that goes into 8 and 12. What is the largest variable that goes into x squared and x? Well, again, our smallest exponent is always going to be our greatest common factor. So we have 4x. And again here, these are the same, so we know we can take out a y. So dividing each term by 4xy, we have 2x, period, because y divided by y is just 1, plus 12 divided by, so 12xy divided by 4xy is going to be 3. And if you wanted to check this again, you could distribute these out and see if you got it right. So that's it. You've just learned how to factor using the greatest common factor in under 6 minutes. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more math tutorials. Also, grab my practice worksheet on Teachers Pay Teachers. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.